You are not born. You are chosen. You work at the Playtime Co factory, a company that looks like a fairy tale from the outside. You watch as Poppy becomes a global phenomenon, as the stock price rises, as children laugh in commercials. You don't know that beneath the factory, restricted levels are already being built for the Bigger Bodies initiative. You hear conversations about Dr. Elliot Ludwig, a genius who wants to give toys life. You are called in to participate in a special project, and you think it's a promotion. You sign the documents without reading the fine print about voluntary consent for experimental procedures. They escort you through restricted areas, to places with no windows and no press cameras. You notice the other employees. They won't look you in the eyes. You realize the doors behind you close far too heavily. You lie on a metal table under the blinding light of a surgical lamp. You hear Ludwig's voice, calm, convinced, almost inspired. For the first time, you hear the number. Experiment 1170. You understand that you are no longer a name, but a number in a logbook. Needles pierce your skin, and you feel every single one of them. Your heart races, but the straps hold you down. You hear words about consciousness transfer and enhanced tissue compatibility. The pain becomes unbearable, yet you remain conscious. It's part of the procedure. Your bones break and stretch, your body structure forcibly altered. You realize your human body no longer belongs to you. You wake up inside something soft, and at the same time, foreign. You try to move your hand, and see a long blue limb covered in fur. You try to scream, but only a low, distorted sound comes out. You feel fur where your skin used to be, but your skin is gone. You realize your consciousness remains intact. You remember everything. You understand. Huggy Wuggy is not a character. It is you inside the shell. They test you for strength, obedience, and pain tolerance. You feel pain even in this new body, and that means you're alive. They place you at the factory entrance as a smiling mascot, and children hug you, unaware that there is a human inside. And while they laugh, you stand motionless, realizing that Playtime Company has buried the truth deep beneath the factory floor, along with you. You no longer stand at the entrance as a mascot. You were removed from display long ago. You feel how the factory has changed. The underground levels have grown deeper. Security has become stricter. The screams, quieter. You hear a name the other experiments whisper. Prototype. You know his number. Experiment 1006. You have never seen him fully, but you feel his presence within the walls. You notice the other toys beginning to behave differently, less obedient, more aware. You understand. Someone is coordinating this. You sense an impulse, like a signal traveling through ventilation shafts and steel beams. You don't hear words, but you understand the command. You stop resisting the call. August 8th, 1995 arrives. Employees come to work unaware that it is their last day. You feel the tension building inside the factory, like the air before a storm. Prototype is active. His influence becomes almost physical. You feel a clarity you never had before. Purpose. The hour begins. The hour of joy. The toys come to life all at once, without panic, without chaos in their movements, but with chaos in their consequences. You move quickly, far faster than any human. You hear the first screams of employees in the corridors. You understand there is no turning back. You break down doors you once merely guarded. You hunt not out of rage, but by a command that cannot be ignored. You see Mommy Longlegs blocking the exits in the play zones. You know Catnap is putting to sleep those who try to hide. You feel that Prototype is directing it all, remaining in the shadows. You realize he did not simply escape. He is building something greater. The corridors fill with sirens, but no one comes to help. The factory, once a symbol of joy, becomes a trap. When it is over, only silence remains inside. And you, the experiments. After that day, Playtime Co officially shuts down, but you remain inside, locked away with the others under Prototype's unseen watch. 10 years pass, and you stand exactly where they left you, at the entrance. Dust settles on your fur, but you do not move. The factory rots, yet you remain part of it. You hear the sound of doors opening. Someone has entered. You know it's a former employee, because he isn't afraid at first. You feel him walk through the main hall and read the letter. You remain motionless, like a prop. You watch as he explores the abandoned reception area. You see him obtain the grab pack after restoring the power. You understand the game has begun. When the lights in the hall flicker, you vanish from your spot. You feel fear touch him for the first time. You make no sound. You let the silence work for you. You move through the corridors, hidden behind the walls. You watch him through the ventilation grates. You follow him as he activates electrical circuits using the blue hands. You wait for the moment when the lights go out. When everything goes dark, you move faster. You fill the corridor with your presence. You allow him to see you for only a second, and disappear again. You climb into the ventilation shafts, feeling the metal beneath your long arms. You hear him running, breathing heavily. You accelerate, gripping the tunnel walls. You know every turn of the factory better than he does. The siren begins to wail, amplifying the chaos. You almost touch him as he breaks through the final door. You burst out of the vent at full height. The floor cracks beneath you as he cuts the power. You feel the structure give way under your weight, and you fall into the elevator shaft, into darkness, realizing that the hunt is over. But the war has only just begun. You fall, but you do not die, because toys do not die so easily. You lie at the bottom of the shaft, your body damaged, but your mind still clear. You hear the grinding of metal somewhere deep within the factory. You recognize the sound. Prototype is still active. You understand that he has grown stronger over the years. You feel his influence spreading through the lower levels. You are no longer the center of events. Now, he is. You realize he is collecting parts from other experiments. You understand he is rebuilding himself, layer by layer. You sense that even your fall was part of his design. Somewhere above, Mommy Longlegs continues her cruel games. You know she controls the game station, testing humans through deadly trials. You feel her fear of Prototype, even if she hides it. You understand that her death too will become part of his construction. You hear the tearing of metal as he takes what remains of her. You realize he is using all of you as components. You understand that none of the experiments are free. Not you, not her, not the others. Deep within Playcare, you sense the presence of Catnap. You know he lulls the minds of children and adults alike, sustaining Prototype's cult. You understand that Playcare is not a shelter, but a place for new transformations. You remember the Bigger Bodies Initiative and the blinding surgical light. You realize the experiments never truly stopped, they only went deeper. You feel that the factory is an organism, and Prototype is its brain. You are no longer the apex predator in these corridors. You are a tool, left in the shadows. But inside you, the memory of who you once were still lives. You remember your human name, long erased from the reports. You wonder, if Prototype completes himself, will there be any place left for you? And in the darkness of the depths, you understand. Either you will become part of his final form, or one day you will rise against him, if you can remember that you were human.